example. All right, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to say b is even. Is assigned get odd even, and we're going to pass in I input value. And we close that off. Okay, now why is it going? Oh. I do have to put the static back, sorry. I had to write it a different way in order to not have it be static, but that's okay. Alright, so what we've got here is I'm saying, alright, once I have the input value, I want to figure out whether it's odd or even. So what I'm doing is I'm saying, okay, I'm going to take the value that I got, I'm going to pass it in to a method called getOddEven, which will then do its work, and it will return to me a true or a false. And so now what I can do is I can say if b is even, and I'll do this for consistency because I said I'd like to see that. Stem out print line even. Else system out print line odd. That's exactly right. Deneen is correct. Okay, I'm just trying to go back here through the comments, so give me a second to make sure. Because I was looking, I've got you guys on one monitor, and I've got the display on the other so you don't see yourselves asking questions. Alright, so I think I get it, but why do you identify a Boolean value at the beginning? Melissa, are you talking about this Boolean value up here? I'm not sure I 100% understand your question. Okay, what I'm doing here is I'm just holding this. This is just to hold a value, and I'm doing it just for clarity. That's why I'm saying this is a longhand way of doing it. Technically, what I could do is I could take this call right here, this piece, and stuff it right into this if statement. But one thing that I found in teaching this over the years, there's some folks who are going to get that immediately, and a lot of folks are, still challenged. And it's not it's not nothing against them. It just, this stuff is alien. It's like another language, and it takes people time to learn it. And so I kind of take some of that obscure, harder stuff to understand, and I break it down to make it a little more simple to understand. So that's why I did that. Okay. Oh, okay. What happens is, in this case, it's not going to make any difference, to be honest with you, that it's false. Usually, when we're developing code, there's a consistency with how we initialize things. And a lot of times, if you think about it, if true, execute all these statements. If false, do nothing. Okay. If true, turn the autopilot of the airplane on. If false, don't turn the autopilot on. So what we do is we usually default to the negative value because that's the one that tends to cause the fewer bad things to happen if things are not right. I know it's kind of a nebulous statement there, but that's the general idea. All right. So let's go ahead and we'll actually just debug this puppy. All right. So let's see if this works. So I'm going to hit F7. No main class is found. Alright, we do have a main class. So I'm going to save it. I'm going to demo week 2. I'm going to try it again. Okay, sometimes it does that, and I don't know why it's a little bit weird that way, but sometimes it'll complain that I can't find the main. Usually what I do, I just stop it, save it, try it again, make sure that I don't have a line of code highlighted, and usually it'll be fine. Okay, so here we go, demo 2. Alright, so we're at the first value. What I want to do is I just want to go back here real quick, and with some of this debug stuff. There's stuff in here that you don't need right now about the classes. You really don't need args because we talked about that last week. That's coming in from main. We don't need these breakpoints. All these breakpoints here have nothing to do with anything we're doing. Don't worry about them. These watches, look at this. This watch is from the last program. That's one of the things is Michael, well, have a good night, and my condolences on having to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Hopefully we'll have a good video of this that I'll have uploaded for you so you can see the debug. Okay, so we're looking at itest value, and you notice over here in red it says itest value is not a known variable in the current context. Well, that's because it's from the old program, so we'll just uncheck it. We don't care. All right, so here we go. We're back into week 2, and let's go ahead and start stepping through here. All right, so we're down to the Boolean. It's initializing that. We're doing our print line. And you can see down here under Demo Week 2 Debug, it says input an integer to determine odd or even. All right, so we'll put in 6. I'll hit Enter. And we'll go back up to F7, and it's just created the scanner. That's now in. It is taking, and going to take input value and turn it into 6. And sure enough, there it is. And now, here we go. The code should jump here, from here, all the way down to here. And sure enough, it did. See, we went from right up here where the gray is, the gray bar. The gray bar indicates the last line in the calling method, which means the one that called get odd even. Okay, so now we are in get odd even, and we should see that I number, which is the local variable, has a value of 6 because we passed the value of I input value in, which is also 6. Okay, so it's going to do exactly what happened before. In this case, we're going to return true. And now we're back up here in the calling method. And b is even is now true. If b is even, print out. There it is. It's even. Okay? And the program ran. Now, does everybody understand why up here I said if b is even as opposed to if b is even is equal to true? Does anybody need clarification on that? Okay. All right. So